I thought today that in some ways the game was sort of predictable in that we looked out of sorts on offense in the first half. Obviously, we didn't have our anchor in there, and I knew it would affect us. I didn't know to what extent, but we got pretty good shots in the first half and just couldn't make them, and then we got the same shots in the second half and obviously did a much better job of putting them in the basket. But I thought the best part of the day was the fact that for the first 20 minutes when we couldn't buy a basket, we are defensively, we hold them to 6 of 33 in the first half, and so I felt good about that. I felt good about how we played defensively. You know, you hold somebody to 24% for a game. That's pretty good. And so our guys played hard. Again, it was a different experience because we're got some guys playing minutes that they're not used to playing, and I thought Jared did a really good job. It's the start of the second half of getting our team going. From an energy standpoint, an emotional standpoint, obviously from a scoring standpoint. He was very efficient. Marcus was very efficient, and that's what allowed us to play much better in the second half from an offensive standpoint. But I know it was ugly in the first half, but I thought it looked much better in the second half, and I'm proud of the way those guys played. I thought Peace gave us some really good minutes. Terrell did some really good things. We had a couple guys didn't have their best day, but that's okay. But I was pleased with how hard they played and how hard they fought.
How serious is Ryan's injury, Kevin?
I don't know how to answer that. How serious is it? It's serious. He missed the game today. He's probably going to be out for I would think at least a couple of weeks, and he has a stress reaction in his third metatarsal. He had the issue last year was a stress fracture in the second, right beside the one. This one's a reaction. They got it before it fractured, and so we're hoping that it'll get better here within a couple of weeks.
Did the injury occur in practice or against West?
It wasn't. It didn't. It wasn't an injury. It was. He came to practice on Thursday, which really is kind of surprising because we were off Sunday. We practiced for an hour and 5 or 10 minutes on Monday because of finals. An hour and 15 minutes on Tuesday. We were off Wednesday, and he came in on Thursday and said, "My foot feels funny. It doesn't hurt, but it just." And he said, I know I'm a little bit skittish. Not his word, mine, but that was what he meant because of what happened last year. And so he said, but it doesn't hurt. It just feels a little funny. He practiced Thursday. Then after practice, it was more sore, and did an MRI and found what they found, and so. It wasn't an injury. I mean, he practiced on Thursday with no problem, but complained of a little bit of soreness. So they did an X-ray, then they did an MRI, and that's what they found.
Kevin, what was, I guess, your message to the team about playing without Ryan? About maybe guys not trying to try to take on a double-double all by themselves and say I have to replace that.
Well, I thought that's what happened at the beginning of the game. I thought we were playing. Me offense instead of we offense, and again, not because we were selfish, but because we were sort of without the guy that we play through all the time, so I knew that we would see some things that we were not used to seeing. That's why Ryan plays 30-some minutes a game, but I thought Peace and Terrell, I thought they both did a nice job, so. But it was just we were just unsettled. I would say would be the word. We were unsettled because, we had one day yesterday, the day before the game, to prepare without Ryan. Not that means a ton because we were on the same offense. We're doing the same stuff. just those young guys just aren't quite as good at it as he is yet. So, and it's not their fault, but so anyway, we'll have a couple of days of practice here before the next one. Hopefully, look a little smoother and kind of keep smoothing it out, and maybe the silver lining in all of this will be that, you know, Peace and Terrell will be able to experience some development and growth here by getting these minutes.
From the 16 minutes that Millie was out on the floor, I mean, did you feel like you were kind of coaching the 2018-19 Pitt basketball team at that point?
It's a pretty young team. I don't. I just really like this team. I like these guys. I appreciate the fans that were here today, the students that were here, and I just really like coaching this team. And like I said, there are a lot of teams that you can't buy a basket in the first half and would hurt their resolve to do some other things, and it increased our resolve to be better defensively, and that's a sign of really good competitive character, in my opinion. But yeah, we have a young team, and when we take Ryan out, we really have a young team. So, but that's okay. We're those young kids will get better, and they'll keep getting better, but I'd sure prefer to have the old guy back in there. He's awfully good.
How frustrating is it for you to lose Luther with 2 weeks left until your starting season?
Injuries are just part of the game, and any injury is frustrating. It's frustrating that Millie's hobbled by a hamstring injury right now, and you know, I felt bad for Monty. He was out there today, and he twisted his ankle twice in the last week, and he's way less than 100%, but he wanted to give it a go and did and played hard. So I feel bad for all of them. Obviously, Ryan's missing more time, but it's about Ryan. It's about this team. This team wants Ryan out there. Ryan wants to be out there, and you know, obviously, I feel badly for any guy that's injured, but it's not about frustration for me. It's just about what we can do to help these guys do their best.
How much, Kevin, was your all second half improvement as far as you saw it, a function of them maybe getting a little bit more comfortable being out there without Ryan after maybe seeing the little outside of the first?
I think that was a lot of it, and I think the message at halftime was, hey, let's attack the lane a little bit. You know, let's get the ball to the paint instead of just settling for the first jump shot that we see. And then what happened was we got the ball to the lane and we started making our shots on the perimeter, which is usually the way it happens. So, and I thought that's why we were able to defend them so well, was we were able to keep the ball out of the paint for the majority of the day, and that was a big emphasis for us going into the game.
Is it unrealistic, Kevin, to think that Ryan could play against Miami?
I have no way of answering that at this point, Jerry. I don't. Basically, what they said to me today was that they'll reevaluate it in a couple of weeks. So that's right around the Miami game.
With 2 non-conference games left on the schedule so far, what do you want to see change before or get better before conference play picks up?
I would just like to see more consistent job on the defensive boards. You know, we did a great job on the boards against West Virginia. Not as well today. Consistent ball care. I thought we took better care of the ball today for the most part. But their defense is a little bit like ours. It's not designed to try to turn you over every possession. So I think rebounding and ball care, and then, you know, just crispness of execution, you know, but that's something that we'll be working on. Well, all those things will be things we'll be working on all season long. But we're getting better. I think our team is getting better, and you know, this is obviously a little bit of a setback here without not having Ryan for a bit, but our team continues to show signs of progress, and they continue to play hard. So we're making strides.
You don't want to lose your best player, but are you looking forward to see how these young guys react beyond today in the next couple games?
Well, what I told them today was that you know, this is an opportunity for other guys to grow and develop, because, you know, Terrell and Peace and Kenna, those guys are going to get some of those minutes, and they're all here because they want to play. So now they're going to have an opportunity to play and get better. And so, yeah, like I said, if I'm trying to find a positive, which there's not many positives to having your best player out, but if I'm going to find a positive, maybe the development that takes place over here the next few weeks with these guys will make them better and more prepared for conference play.
I guess both offensively and defensively, Kevin, how much does your all's identity as a team change without Ryan in that mix, without him out there?
Well, he's our best offensive player, and he's our best rebounder, and he's by far our best post defensive player. So, you take away one of your best ball handlers, one of your best passers, one of your best shooters, one of your best scorer, your best scorer maybe, your best rebounder, your best pick and roll defense guy. I mean, the guy with all the experience. I mean, it all feels different. Now, we're not going to change who we are, how we play, because the other guys have been getting coached the same way Ryan's been getting coached. And again, they'll develop and they'll continue to get better. And Peace went in, like I said, and blocked 3 shots in the first half. That's something that we didn't have. We don't have that a lot. But Peace got to play 16 minutes today, which is the most he's played. So we'll get some other things from some of these guys playing, but we're just going to have to learn to play without him until he comes back.
Shamil and Parker each had 8 rebounds. Jared had 5. You're going to have to be more guys crashing the rim than just leaving the number 5 guy under there thinking he's going to
it's got to be a gang rebounding mentality, but it has to when Ryan's in too. I mean, he gets a lot of them, but it has to be a gang rebounding mentality for our team because we're not big, we're not we're just we have to fight to rebound hard and I thought we could have done a better job of that today, but again, we did a great job. Well, they shot 24%, so we did pretty well.
How did Ryan seem to be handling this kind of recent?
Oh, he's down. I mean, he's disappointed, frustrated. Yeah, I was asked a question about frustration. He's frustrated. But it's part of the game. Injuries are part of the game, and you have to be able the rest of our team has to be able to deal with it and try to overcome it. Ryan will overcome it. He's a champion. He'll do his part, and the rest of us have to do ours.
I know it's not going to fall on one person, but how important is it now for Jared, what he did today? He's kind of a mature guy, one of the oldest guys on the team, to kind of step into more of a leadership role. Yeah,
I think Jared. Jared's leadership was terrific today, and I really think that's what enabled him to play the way he played because he was talking and at halftime talking, on the way out of the locker room talking. He was the guy that was bringing the energy for us today, and I was glad that he was rewarded with a good game because he showed great leadership whether he was on the bench or whether he was in the game, and so I was really happy for him with that, and so it'll be important, because our margin for error gets a lot slimmer, obviously, without Ryan. Not that we had a real big margin for error anyway, but it's much slimmer without Ryan. So Jared, Marcus, honestly, Shamil is obviously a lot better player than he played today. We need for him to become more consistent. But everybody. It was nice to have Cam jump up and make shots, but it's not just one guy, but certainly Jared does. But it's important that everybody understand that they have to do a little bit more.
Ryan's someone who I think has played in something like 80% of the possible minutes this season. I mean, how long did it take you guys to kind of acclimate to functioning as an offense without him out there, and a defense too, I guess?
I think it was just different from having a veteran leader, on the floor. Vocally, that was where we had to step up. As far as making the plays, we all practice together and make the same plays. So I think we knew what we had to do as far as, the parts of the game. I think the thing that we did miss was definitely that veteran leadership, that voice out on the court, that no matter what is going to be calm and knows what to do at all times. So
that's sort of a role that you had to kind of step more into, given your age, given your experience.
Definitely.
Jared, when you score 11 straight points at a halftime, what was working so well for you, and what changed from the first half to the second half?
After we came out of halftime, when we were in the huddle before we went to the coach, when all the players were just in the huddle, we just kind of talked to each other and said, we got to play with that same energy we did when we came back against West Virginia. When we play like that, we're a really good team, and when we don't, then the odds are in the other team's hands. So it was kind of just trying to shift the gear for the whole team, trying to get everybody to just play a little harder so we could pull out the win.
What opened up for you on the floor?
They were sagging. Their defense was kind of sagging back. So I think just in transition, my first three was like in transition, and then after that, I was kind of just feeling it, Got a couple good looks, so just had to knock them down.
Considering your guys' struggles from being on the arc this year, getting 14, 5-7 from you today, a breath of fresh air.
It's nice to see them go in the way they do in practice. I'll definitely say that.
How odd was it without the resources of Ryan Luther in the lineup?
It was definitely very different. We're all obviously very used to playing with Ryan almost all the time. The minutes he logs in each game, he's pretty much out there with almost everybody most of the time. So it was definitely something to get adjusted to, and you could clearly see that a bit in the first half. But we kind of just stuck with it, like you said, and when we went into halftime, coming out of halftime, just talked to each other about energy, and Jared did a great job of stepping up, being the vocal leader that we needed, talking to guys constantly, just trying to put energy into guys and let his energy show throughout the game, and he did that.
Did it give you an idea maybe what the team might be like next year?
Well, we're kind of used to Jared being like that now. I mean, even in practice and even in the games, it's just today it just had to be that much more because Ryan wasn't there, but we're used to Jared talking to us all the time, trying to get us going, and he's definitely a big energy giver.
Jared, what do you think the toughest transition was for you coming from JUCO to here, and how have you weathered that through 11 games then?
One of the toughest transitions was coming to a place where everybody is caring for one another. In junior college, oftentimes people are worried about themselves, trying to get to another place or, to Division I, and that's from coaches, players, everybody that's involved in that level of sport. But here, everybody cares about each other. So one of the transitions I had to make was just mentally kind of relaxing, being able to trust people again, 100%. And my teammates have done a great job of that. And one of the things the coaches asked me to do when I first came was to do that because we had such a young team. And, they made it so much easier than it probably would have been, so.
Jared, you had 5 rebounds. Shamil had 8. Parker had 8. Did you guys know, kind of without Ryan, that it was going to have to sort of be a team effort as far as rebounding go? And I feel like you did a good job of that?
Yeah, that was actually the first thing Coach said to us when we knew we weren't going to have Ryan today. He averages a double-double, so, it's kind of hard to replace that. So we knew we were going to have to be multiple people putting in that work that he does as a collective group. So I think we did a good job of that.
The 33 threes were a season high for you guys this season. And you all were already shot a decent amount from deep. How much more are you guys figuring that'll be a part of your all strategy moving forward here? I guess as long as Ryan is at it. How much more do you think you guys are going to be relying kind of on outside shots?
It was kind of, like you said earlier, a bit of their defense. They're really sagging off, so we kind of took a couple bad looks early. But everybody on this team, almost everybody can really shoot the ball, and that's not something new to us. So just because of the style that they were playing, we were able to get a few more open shots than we would any other game, and guys did a good job of knocking them down, especially Jared. But we all know collectively as a group that we can shoot the ball, so any game that we can come out, we can take advantage of that, we'll do so.
We played a tough Pitt basketball team. Knew they were good, and they're good at home, and Coach Stallings doing a heck of a job. And you can see his system getting acclimated to, the kids are getting acclimated to his system. It was a game that, looked like neither team wanted to score early, and we felt pretty good that although we were getting shots, and I didn't complain about our shots because we missed a lot of tip ends and plays we didn't finish at the rim when we had an opportunity. But they got hot the second half, and they came down, and I think they had like four threes in a row, and it kind of opened up the game. And then it was kind of like then they got a lot of more confident in their shots, and they hit shots. But the biggest thing is, obviously we were pleased with our rebounding with a team such their size. But when you got your best players going 1 for 10 and 2 starters, the other starter 2 for 11, it's hard to win basketball games when you count on those guys to score. But I'm pleased with the effort. We came through, even though when we wasn't scoring, we was playing hard, I thought. But eventually one team got hot, and that was the end result of the basketball game.
What do you think of your team's early play, first 10 minutes or so? Seemed like they responded to the challenge. We're kind of taking the game to Pitt.
I thought we did. And when we were up, we had great shots when they made their run. And just shots we finished, we just kept kids keep getting those shots, keep their highest percentage shots. You get something to go. And I told them attack the rim. I mean, say if you're not getting a call, go more aggressive to the goal. I mean, you got to make that call. But, you look at the end of the day, we shot 20 free throws. They only shot 5. So I was pleased with that. We just got to make those. And when they made their run, when it's on the threes, we missed some free throws in between. We couldn't stay close enough. And then the game just got a little lopsided at one point.
When you were scouting Pitt and preparing for them, how big of a focus was Ryan Luther for you during that planning process?
Well, I mean, obviously, you look at a team, and we've watched them play and watched a lot of film on them, and obviously he was pretty good tonight. Did you say Ryan?
Yeah. Okay. Ryan Luther, yeah, because he was out with a.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking for Ryan, but sometimes kids step up when one goes down, and that's what good teams do. You step up for that opportunity. That's when kids get opportunity. When not unfortunate kids hurt, but we know he's a double guy for them and big guys. But I thought their big stepped up and did what they needed to do for a win. But I thought their guard play was very good. I thought Wilson and Carr really opened the game up. They hit some big baskets and got some good penetration plays. And I thought the big kid, we let him get too close to the basket, and he missed one dunk. Then he established himself and got a good dunk, good for his confidence. I know he's a young kid. But, and just like any team, that's why you have 14, 15 guys, and obviously you don't want anybody to get injured. But this was a good game for somebody else to step up, and Coach Stallings put a little bit more confidence in them getting more minutes.
When they made their second half run, it was Wilson Frame, who I think he hit 3 threes in a row. What was difficult, or why couldn't you guys guard the perimeter as well when they made that run?
Well, a couple of times he got in transition. We just didn't get back in transition. The first 3 I remember, we had one of our better defensive players on him. He didn't sprint back. And he hit the 3, and then they ran a couple of sets. Obviously, they saw he had a hot hand. He was in rhythm, and they ran some sets for him, and he hit some big shots.
How hard was it for you to prepare to play against a team that won 4 out of its last 5 games, knowing that your team lost 4 out of its last 5 games?
Well, one thing I tried to say, guys, we're getting better, even though the score is not what it seemed like. But I thought just the challenge of playing a Big 5 team, knowing that Pitt had won their last 4 out of 5 basketball games, knowing it's going to be a tough coming in to beat them. But all I've asked my guys who play hard, play smart, and play together. And I think I say don't worry about the scoreboard. If we play hard first, try to outplay your opponent, you're always in a game. And I think we lost. I don't know if we got tired. We lost some energy when they made their run. But I thought Liberius Hill, who played well in our last game, he got in the early foul trouble. He protects the rim pretty good for us, and I thought that was a factor. We couldn't get him in the game and in the rotation enough.
They had all their points in the paint, 22 of them all in the second half. Was that did you guys change anything up there from the first to the second, or was that just their guards getting more comfortable with dribble drive?
I thought penetration was a big difference. And like you said, you look at you would think that the discrepancy in the score, we get 21 offensive rebounds. We just couldn't finish. They're tall. But when you get 24 offensive rebounds in any game, you gotta make plays. You either got to go to the line, which we did, but we got to hit those free throws. And I thought that was a big key. When you're not scoring the ball, we got good shooters. Caleb Ledoux is a really fine shooter. He's been struggling of late, but when you're not shooting the ball away from the perimeter, and you get 24 offensive rebounds, you got to either get to the foul line and make your free throws to keep the game close. And when hopefully you can make a run, and one of your guys going to hit that next big shot.
James Harvey's just been on you guys being on the road for now 4 consecutive games.
Hopefully we say this, the adversity is going to prepare us for for our league, in which we have a tough league, and not necessarily that we want to be on the road so long. It just predicts the way our schedule goes. But this is hopefully it builds character. And adversity, you know, I always say that's part of how you respond from adversity. It's not about what happened tonight. It's where we go from here, and that's the way I look at it more than anything. We got to get tougher. Even when we don't have success, we got to play through those parts of the game. And there's a lot of peaks and valleys in the game, but the biggest thing is we got more left on our schedule, so we got to put this behind us, know why we're here, just keep fighting and get better.
What was also larger defensive strategy today? Because we had talked with a couple of the Pitt players earlier, and they were saying at least in the second half, it seemed like your guys were kind of sagging off the three-point line.
Well, what we did in the last couple of games, we've been getting beat on penetration and getting to the goal. They've been getting to the goal line, so we backed off as far as become more of a pack line defensive team. Try to keep guys in front of us. Try to stop some of the penetration. I think that was obviously worked well first because they didn't make many shots and we were able to rebound. But I mean, that was our going into it. And we threw a little 2-3 zone in, and of course Wilson knocks a three, so we jump out of that real quick. But that was probably it, just to try to play more of a soft man-to-man, knowing they got to have size and try to keep the guards out the paint.
James Harvey was shooting 28% from three coming in today, 5 of 10. Is that more like the player you've had the last couple of years?
No question. James, his freshman year, had a phenomenal freshman year, a little down on his sophomore year. But that's what James does. He can hit shots. He can have range. And obviously, you can look at our statistics. He's the only guy that shot above 50% tonight. But he has to do that for us. We just got to get enough guys on the same page. You know, and Caleb can shoot like that. Stevens is Yukachuku, who's really have his presence inside. He's better than 1 for 10. And just didn't finish at the rim for us tonight. And got some great looks. And just getting those shots we're pleased with. But the biggest thing, we'll go back and look at the film and look at why we wasn't successful on finishing. And I think that was the biggest key. We just didn't finish enough shots in the paint.